G'day gang, it's a casual Simo and Ed here today, and we're going to talk to you about a really cool idea to recession-proof your kart track.
We are indeed.
You're watching the Fast Line Track Growth Program, where we talk all things karting and business.
We do indeed.
So Ed, recession-proofing your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I'm going to just say something that's so blindingly obvious that you're just going to go, yeah, but here you go. Let's just deliver this line to you now that you listen. Sell to those who spend.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, Captain Obvious.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it is really obvious, isn't it? Most people probably watching this video own a business, right? So they're sitting there going, yeah, great, sell to those who spend. And I go, fantastic, yeah, thanks, Ed. Doors that way. So my next question then is, so what are you then doing about making sure that the people you're attracting to your go-kart track are the ones who are spending the biggest amount of money? And that's where the tumbleweeds will probably start to come in, because it's so rare that business owners think about stuff like this. So we're going to talk about how you market to the affluent, the people that just seem to survive no matter what's going on in the environment around us, and the people who really want down our go-kart tracks during a recession.
That's it. They're going to be the ones who have the discretionary income to spend.
Yeah.
So it's a smart move to market to the affluent.
Yeah, you've always got to make some effort to go and get some sales to be generated in your business, right? But the truth is, you don't have to do any more effort to go and get somebody who's affluent versus somebody who's doing okay or perhaps isn't so quite well off. So why don't you just spend a bit of time during the recession time just making sure you're getting people who have got the money to go and spend with you that will bulletproof, recession-proof your business.
Good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we do this, Ed?
Well, you've got to get into the mindset of your customers. Always, market message and media is always the rule we live by. Market is, we've got to really understand who our customer is, the marketplace. So there's a few rules here that we'll just pop through on 2 videos. You know the format. But we'll just go through a few of the things that you just need to be thinking about to make sure you're getting the right people down your track who've got a little bit of money to spend. So let's kick off with one, I guess.
Okay. So we've got to always show respect.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all about customer service.
It is. Now, you're already being showing respect to your customers, I hope.
Yeah.
It's not always the truth at in every company, but you've really got to get on top of your customer service.
Especially if you're going for the affluent. They expect it, you know, and they want those little extras.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they don't want to walk to the bar and get their drinks. Maybe they want it bought on a silver platter. But hey,
absolutely.
If they're going to spend the money.
Well, I checked into the hotel last night. I stayed down in Surrey a couple of times, a couple of days, a couple of times a month. So I'm normally staying overnight somewhere, and I checked into the hotel. And the first thing they wanted me to do was book my evening meal 24 hours before I showed up. Like, what the hell's all that about? Like, you're a restaurant, you're a hotel, for crying out loud. And then I thought, oh, well, sod that, I'll just go out. So I didn't spend my money with them. And then, when I turned up to check in yesterday morning, they said, breakfast is 7:30 till 9:30. I went, great. What time would you like to be booked in? And I was going, I wouldn't, thank you. I'd like to turn up whenever I have some
just
free time in the morning, and then have you just do me some like bacon and eggs. It'd be great. They're like, oh, we're a booking-only restaurant. Fantastic. Well, I'm a non-eating client of yours at your restaurant then. So I haven't eaten in their restaurant. So I don't know what they've missed. It's not large sums of money, but...
Hey, multiply that out. How many people do that? I mean, God, I'm not going to book dinner 24 hours in advance.
Yeah.
Because A, I don't know what time I'm going to want to eat. I mean, you know, and B...
I don't know what I fancy.
Yeah.
And this isn't like some low-budget hotel. I pulled in. It took me about 3 minutes to go down the driveway just to go and reach from the main road to the hotel, you know. I'll tell you a story. I went for a quick walk in the grounds last night. I found myself surrounded by 50 deer. This is quite a posh
I know
hotel.
the one you're talking about.
Yeah, just round the corner from your old man's.
Oh, that shit.
It really is bad. By the way, their prices are really, really low, and the reason is because they don't understand that I've got a business budget I can burn with them, and they haven't taken that money off me. So no wonder their prices are low. They don't know how to get past a threshold. No. And there's also a room shortage locally around where Simo's offices are.
At the moment there is, isn't there?
Yeah,
I don't know why.
They've got all the grounds, they've got magnificent setting, lovely lake overlooking the house. They can't charge more than about £55 a room. And I'm like, if they just sit down with me for 10 minutes, I'll sort all their problems out.
I had that earmarked if we ever do an event around here.
No, we can't.
So that's definitely off the list.
Yeah, we can't do it. So it's just not worth it.
No.
So first things first, always show respect. I know you are, but think about the customer service and what your customers are really looking for. So if it's more budget, then, I love Premier Inn in England. Like it's a budget hotel, but you go in there, you know exactly what you're getting. The room will be spotlessly clean. You get a choice of pillows. The beds are really comfortable. I know what the breakfast looks like. You may or may not be able to park on site, but there's always somewhere to park pretty much. You know what you're getting. Yeah. No biggie. This really large palatial hotel can't get past budget prices because they just haven't understood who's walking through the door. I don't want, if I want that sort of service, I'll go and book into Premier Inn, thank you very much.
So when you're getting the affluent people through the door, you've got to give them more service.
Yeah. So think about what they're after.
You might want to change up your briefing.
Yeah.
They're more likely to bring groups too.
Well, so you great example that we were just sitting chatting, you're going, I was thinking of using that venue to go and do one of our events. I'm like, we're not. We just can't. We're just it's not going to work for us. They've probably missed out on quite a sizable chunk of change there, haven't they?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Number 2?
Well, the second thing about affluent, I'm not saying I'm affluent, but time is more important than money.
Absolutely.
Right? And in the instance when people can fluctuate between just merely rich or affluent or even on a budget. When I come down here, I'm affluent, I've got money to burn. The idea that I turn up and have to book my meal 24 hours in advance and they want me to book in for breakfast with them. I'm like, screw you, my time is more important than money at the moment. So I'm not playing that game. So again, they've missed out.
I guess you're not going to stay there again.
Well, I might because I know what I'm going to get, I treat it like a budget because it's budget cost, and I quite like one of the restaurants down the road. But the problem is they're missing out on that revenue.
Yeah.
So I might use it, but not in the way that they probably going to tell everybody, "Oh, we've got this great hotel and we're doing all this." And
it's quite removed from the town, so it's a bit of a drive to the town to get that. So they've almost got a captive audience, but they're driving them away.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. So certainly down your track, think about if you're going to get the affluent down there, it's their time that's really important to them. So you probably don't want them filling out. The classic for go-kart tracks is, has everybody seen this video? Have you all signed every single individual disclaimer? Right, you have to do that, but if you leave it to the organiser or somebody in that group to say, here's all our T's and C's, can you read and make sure you've checked through everything, you're probably not helping the affluent. You might just want to sit them down when they turn up, give them a cold drink. I know they're not allowed alcohol before they go out, typically, but you might just want to go, here you go, here's a bit of sparkling water, or do you want a bit of orange juice? Just sit yourselves down. We've just got to cover off a few things to make sure we keep you safe while we're here today. That's the way to go look after the affluent. Time, just be careful of it. Great customer service. They're going to be, this is quite a nice experience. They gave me a little drink while I sat there and listened to the instructions.
And you can charge more for it.
Well,
you don't have. It doesn't have to be, an extra cost for your offering.
No, it's more profit.
You make sure that you give an outstanding offer. So you have the drinks on arrival. You might even want to bloody put their details in the computer for them whilst they're having a drink.
Yeah.
Right. Then you've got drinks waiting for them if they've got a split session, and you cost all that in.
Yeah.
And you might even do a round of beers or whatever at the end. Cost it all in.
Yeah.
Get the marshals to just smother them with advice. So half time, going, look, you can cut a few seconds off here.
Well, my parents are just back off. I think it was a week's holiday, all-inclusive holiday in northern Greece. My mum and my dad, my mum in particular, we've just had such a wonderful time. And I said, what do you mean you've had such a wonderful time? Oh, they picked us up from the airport. We had a buggy round all the site. There's 5 or 6 restaurants. They got Michelin standard chefs. We could have any drink we wanted. All the drinks were free. It didn't matter whether it was cocktails, didn't matter what time of day. I was going, what, champagne for breakfast? They will have quality champagne for breakfast poured for you if you want. This is just absolutely amazing hotel, all wonderful. And I'm thinking, this is nice. And I've got Debs, my wife, is sitting there listening to this, nodding along, being very positive. I was like, that, holy shit, here we go. Well, what did that cost? So Mum and Dad tell me the cost for 1 week. Alright?
Was it eye-watering?
Yeah, but the cost is a distant memory. My mum and dad have just had a bloody wonderful holiday, right? But they had the money to spend. But all my mum talks about is the amazing experience she's had. She doesn't mention the cost. She's not bothered. She's like, oh, we're going to have to work out how we're going to do it again next year. And Debs is like, yeah, we're going to have to work out how we're doing it this summer. And I'm just looking at her going, like, start working full time, my darling.
I hope she's not watching this.
I hope she is. Love you really.
We'll send her a link.
Time is more important than money. So next one.
Next one is never assume a person's disposable income.
Yes.
This is a hysterical one because so many people do. I knew a guy in Oz who developed the world's first sort of drag and drop web page developer.
Oh wow!
Now this guy blew up overnight and was a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
He's gone into a Ferrari dealership to buy a car in, torn tracksuit pants and a t-shirt. They snubbed him.
Yeah.
They absolutely snubbed him.
I've had the same experience with a friend of mine.
He walked down he went to another dealership, right? Bought a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Drove it to that dealership.
My mate did.
Got out and said, "Do you remember me?" I said, oh shit, you fucked up, didn't you? And drove off.
Same story with a friend of mine. Did soil removal, one of the bridges in Britain, a really large one. He did all the soil removal contracts, but he loves to get out there with a shovel sometimes, but quite often driving the trucks. And he turned up at one of the Ferrari dealers in Birmingham in England, in the middle of England, where we just had the Commonwealth Games at the time of filming. And he was absolutely covered in dirt and dust. And he says, I'm just looking at, I don't know which Ferrari it was, but I'm looking at a Ferrari, it's 468, one. That's a number that's just sprung into my head. They're like, oh, do you really? And then they just gave him like a business card, wouldn't give him a brochure or anything. And while he was on their forecourt, rang somebody else who'd bought a car similar to before. Have you got any? Yeah, I've got 3. He said, can you pull them out and let me test drive them and I'll buy one off you? Like, never assume a person's disposable income. The other problem with this, perhaps more to relate it to go-kart tracks, is don't do cost plus for your pricing. Yeah. And what I mean is cost plus 10% or whatever your pricing figure is, right? It's just really horrible way to do it. If you get somebody who's affluent and they come in and they perceive that they're having a great time, right? And then suddenly you just throw something, for an extra £5, we'll go and let you have another 10 laps or something. They'll be like, oh, right. They're smart people, and also just that feeling of just a £5. They just it's not aspirational. It's nothing that I just want to go and do. They're like it just feels grubby all of a sudden.
You need to craft a premium product.
Yeah, you do. Well, the premium offer.
Premium offer. I mean, you can get right down to the nitty-gritties. You make sure that they've got parking spots right next to the door. Right, give them a roped off VIP area.
Later.
Craft everything into it, and it may cost them £100+ a head. Yeah, and they'll pay it. But you've got to deliver it properly.
Well, there's a guy me and you both know, so you probably know who I'm talking about now. But if you just said to him, "Oh, we've got this great karting experience, and everything's all laid on, and you'll want for nothing," and let's imagine that you're charging, I don't know, $40, $50, pounds, whatever you're charging. If you turn around to him and said, that's 120. He'd be like, okay, that's the price. Cool, there you go, there's my credit card. He wouldn't even bat an eyelid. No. And yet, if you saw him, he typically walks around in trainers, jeans, he normally wears a hoodie. he's too old to be wearing hoodies. So if you're watching this, mate, you know who I'm talking about. If you're watching this, mate, I'm just telling you, you can't pull a hoodie off, right? So, but if you saw him turn up, you'd think, what the hell is he? He thinks he's a teenager. He's just wearing some trainers and a hoodie. He's got lots and lots and lots of money, and if you just told him and you looked after him, he'd just throw his Amex at you.
Yeah.
And he'd just and you go, oh, there's a charge on the Amex. Okay, well, just sort it out for me, will you? Can you add it on?
Like, I remember talking to him about offering experiences money can't buy.
Yeah. He's all about that.
Yeah.
Well, he goes to Dubai normally most years, and when he comes back, I mean, I don't understand Dubai. I don't really want to go. I don't mind if I do. I don't mind if I haven't. It just doesn't appeal to me. But he loves that experience. Yeah. And it's great to see him come alive when he tells you about it.
He wants to offer his clients experiences that money can't buy.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, we ended up having lunch in the Houses of Parliament.
We did. I got a one-liner, but I won't use it for the video. We did end up in the Houses of Parliament in Britain as one of the experiences that we had.
Yeah.
But we do tend to do crazy stuff when we hang out, and he just goes, no, come on, we'll do this. And I've booked us into a hotel, and you turn up, like, crikey, like they are palatial. You know, you can't want for anything when you turn up. You just don't bother asking him about the price, because he's never going to tell you anyway.
But everyone remembers it too.
Yeah. I remember pretty much every trip I've had with him. We've had such a laugh.
I mean, that must have been 4 or 5 years ago.
What that we did? Oh, it must be actually when I think about it. Yeah, what a great experience that was. And then we went into a rooftop bar in London, and we had to pull a few strings to go. We'd got nothing booked, and we pulled a few strings to get into the rooftop bar in London. And then on another visit down there, we went into the nightclub that the royal family go into, and we pulled a few strings to go and get to the door there. So there's just amazing experiences, and he's happy to pay for it, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Point number 4.
Target the affluent in your social media. Right, they want to know that they're coming to somewhere that speaks to them, so start speaking to them now.
This is all the market message media. You've got to talk to them differently.
Yeah, that middle ground where people are just doing okay and surviving is never your target market. Even people on budget incomes will save up for events and for something to happen and be happy to spend their money. The people in the middle typically don't. And most people in their marketing tend to go for the middle because they're almost apologetic about the price, they're apologetic about what they offer, they're apologetic about, please will you come and use us? And actually you're far better going for that affluent person where they're not price sensitive and start to target, and that all comes around your messaging and the way you portray yourself and the sorts of the testimonials you get and the way you treat them when they turn up, and start making more of a feature of this in your social media, and the people with the money will start to turn up. Really cool idea.
How about cleaning their Ferrari whilst they're in there?
That'd be such a cool idea. I don't know if they'd let you loose with their Ferrari for a valet down at the go-kart track, but they might just...
You get one in. Get a valet in.
Exactly. So this is where the thinking then. So when you're going to target the affluent, you have to think about what you're putting out on social media. So if you said we're going to clean your Ferrari while you're down at the go-kart track, I'd be like,
you're not fucking touching it.
You're not. But if you said we've got Simo's top-class valeting service that will give you a finish better than the showroom gave you when you handed the car keys over, they are that good, and we'll leave you with a lovely ceramic finish while you're racing, and you're after the affluent, I think you might just get a few gigs every year where they're going, yes please, here's the keys and I'll be back in an hour. It might take them a bit longer, but that's cool. But even that starts to get you thinking differently. They might need more than an hour to get the ceramic coating on to go and make it look absolutely brilliant. You go, cool, it's a 2-hour package. Okay, great. The better question then becomes, how do you keep affluent people down your track and entertained for 2 hours? And once you answer that, you go, right, we could be onto something here. And don't worry about the price.
Yeah.
Even if one person turns up to use it at the ultimate price where they're paying £5,000, like, what would that look like? I'd close my track for an hour and a half.
In a previous video, you talked about a woman who used to go to the races and things like that, and she'd go to the hairdresser, and they would...
that was so one of my clients, she does like beauty salon. We would talk about different packages that people could afford, and she said it's a really wealthy area. There's people are like, honestly, the money around here, yada yada yada. I was like, what's your best package? When I looked at it, I was like, it's just the same as every other bloody beauty salon. In the end, I can't remember all of it, but I know we had a chauffeur-driven car, we had champagne... Pick up from home and champagne.
And then delivered to the races.
They could take friends with them in that car and delivered to the races for the afternoon after they'd done their beauty treatments with the champagne on, and then dropped back at home at the end of the day. One lady went, that's lovely, I'll have that. And I'm pretty sure, it's a while ago, I'm pretty sure she wasn't the only lady that had that package. There was only 2 or 3 of them. But the money, the profit she made, because she only did the same beauty treatments as she only ever did. All the other stuff didn't involve her. But the lady was like, this is fantastic. All my friends will love this. She was proper affluent and just wants to, maybe show off a little, but also is used to that as a standard. Is now going, that's my beauty therapist. And she made an absolute killing on the profit in that was massive. I think it's £1,200 a day for that. It just doesn't cost. I mean, the profit in it is enormous. It's not even. There's like 60% profit in it. And for a beauty salon, that's like a day's profit in one customer that turns up. Probably a bit more than that. Actually, a couple of days worth of profit for one customer that turns up every month and goes to the races.
It's well worth it.
Yeah.
Well, probably a good point to leave it here. We want to leave you dangling, and we will explain to you 5 more ideas about how to market to the affluent next week.
Absolutely.
All right. All right.
Cheerio.
See you next week.